Ladies and gentlemen, we will start the final session of, not the final session, but the final panel of this conference, and I'm very glad that you stay all the time with us. We are starting 15 minutes late, so I promise that we will finish 15 minutes earlier at least. Okay, and this is a panel for the future of scientific publishing, and it will try to answer the question, will AI rewrite the rules of scientific publishing, which I think it's a quite important topic for this conference, but also for you and for the whole scientific community. And today we have with us very respectable panelists. I will start with virtual world. You saw that it's not easy to connect real world and virtual world, but we have Professor Şir Kilkash from TÜBİTAK in Turkey. Şir is editor in journal Energy Conversion and Management, and also the member of editorial board of SDEWES, Smart Energy, and energy storage and saving. So then we have here with us Professor Natasha Markowska from editor in Smart Energy Reports, if I'm not right. And then we have Professor Neven Dujic, and for Professor Neven Dujic, I really do not know how many editorial rules you have now. I know that you are chief editor of SDEWES, and you are editor still in energy, or yes, and energy E-Prime, and Professor Dujic will say if there, but Professor Dujic was editor in energy conversion management, so he's also a member of World Academy of Science, and he had many roles. So Neven, did I? This is enough journals, but I think there is the list is quite high, because you will see later at the closing session how many journals we were editing. So let's say that here we have a very experienced members of International Scientific Committee of SDEWES Conference, who are also managing special issues and also are doing editorial work on daily basis. And this is not an easy task. I can tell you, because I'm also editor in Energy Conversion and Management. And here we are with us, we have also Professor Tomislav Pukšec, who is in the audience. He will leave the room because he has a plane to catch at 5, but he's also editor in Energy Journal. Do we have any other editors in the room? Felipe is not in the room, but I know that Felipe is not here. Okay. Okay. So before we start with the discussion on the panel and introduction of panelists, maybe I would just like to make a few points. Today also we hear that there were some, let's say, things that were not so clear regarding how we should communicate and what are our relationship from the results to the exploitation. So in scientific world, I think we have 3 major things how our results are, let's say, exploited, or how they can be used. So first one is communication. Okay, so this is how we communicate our results to the general public, or to let's say general audience, etc. Then we have dissemination, which should be used on the levels for the scientists if we are talking about scientific results. And then finally we have exploitation, which is somehow the use of the results for the different purposes. So I think this should be quite clear. Can we comment on this first? So because we heard we have professor here on the last lecture who said that if paper is published even in Nature, but results are not used, then by policy makers or anyone else, then let's say maybe it was wrong expression, but we got answer that maybe this scientist, then it's not good scientist. But I said it's not on the scientist to maybe use and make exploitation of the results. The publication and the confirmation that the results are valid are in a journal, but then it's on the other side, on policymakers and all the other to make the use of the results. Similar to that, we need to have a very good communication towards everyone, and then dissemination, which will be used as maybe the basis of this panel. So regarding communication, maybe we can start with this. Can AI be used for better communication between scientists and general public? Because maybe it can, answer the questions, or sometimes the papers are written to be read by the scientists, but maybe general public then can use it. So can we comment on this?
Recently, I stumbled upon podcasts by Christian Breyer, and it looked like two journalists discussing scientific paper. And I listened several of them, and only after opening it on laptop for the first time in YouTube, I saw that it was actually made by AI. So AI took the paper and converted it into a podcast in which the whole paper was discussed in a very easy way, so that general public could understand the message of the paper. I think it's wonderful. I think we should all do that if we have strong papers, because this is the way we can communicate with bigger amount of people. I mean, I read a lot of papers because I'm editor, but still, I read them diagonally. But when I'm driving car, and I like driving car, you noticed I came all the way from Zagreb by car, I like listening podcasts. So if I could listen to scientific papers, I would actually hear many more. And I would remember them, because once you hear it, they get much deeper into you than if you just diagonally read them.
Okay, thank you, Natasha.
Okay, if we talk about communication of the results, I think that artificial intelligence definitely would have a great role to do if particularly thoughtfully guided by the authors or the ones who will use the results. I think that it will help very much towards improve scholarly communication. And that further on will help to improve the exploitability of the results, because artificial intelligence would be of great help in making results understandable to targeted audiences. But there are other aspects where we could have artificial intelligence in, but much more carefully. And that is developing the papers, creativity of research, defining the hypotheses and research questions, and also later on in the peer review and editing of the papers. Here, I think that we have a different role of artificial intelligence, and maybe for these stages, I would say, whether artificial intelligence will rewrite the rules of scientific publications. In my perspectives, it will not rewrite the rules, but definitely it will redraw the margins.
Okay, and then we will need to go to each of these segments maybe carefully, which you mentioned, where we can utilize the AI in process of, let's say, delivering the paper. So before that, maybe Shir, would you like to comment on communication part?
For the communication, I think there are some possibilities. My contribution to the panel is more about getting the connections between scientific integrity, sustainability, and mitigation of climate change. I'd be happy to speak on that when the time comes.
Okay, thank you.
Can I comment a little bit more on results? I mean, it's a very important part of doing your research. We all need to do papers, and then we measure something and we get some results, and we think they're good for publishing. But if nobody needs those results, it's not really something that will pass easily. So this is a very relevant question. It doesn't have to be interesting to policymakers. It has to be interesting to someone. So if your results are not really interesting to anyone other, you will not be able to publish in a top journal. It can be everything very correct, but it's not really attractive to a top journal. So this is a very important message to take home.
Yeah, thank you. So we can also answer different questions here, and if anyone has any question regarding what we are discussing, you just can raise the hand. So the floor is open for discussion from this point on. Okay, so maybe just to finish this part on communication, I also have example when I was communicating with one journalist, and she didn't understand my email, and then I put my email to AI, and AI made the perfect interpretation of what I want to say, and then I said, okay, I will try to send the message, to a journalist that maybe she needs to use AI if something is not clear or if you don't understand. But in this point, I had also positive experience with utilizing AI for communication.
For writing emails, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Not just writing, but interpreting,
Also
so how it can be is, because it gives you several possibilities how you can interpret this, and so that's it. Okay, and now let's move to this dissemination, which means publishing. And then, Natasha, you mentioned several of these steps. So can we go from beginning, like a literature review, and see how AI can be utilized this, or you want to go even further, or maybe in the process of the helping in the process of editorial work, so
Yeah.
or you want to go on the side of the writing the paper?
Of the editor side,
okay,
I would
editor
like
side.
to,
Okay, let's start.
contribute.
Okay, let's start from this point.
So, serving as an editor for a number of energy-related high-level journals, I have had front seat in rising presence of artificial intelligence in scholarly publishing. And we are witnessing a lot of new tools, artificial intelligence tools in the editorial workflow. For example, automated plagiarism check, then pairing the papers with the reviewers, also some help with languages, particularly for the manuscripts from authors writing in a second language. And I can say that that it really helped in improving the process, in alleviating the burden of the editors and streamlining the editorial process. Also, in peer review, although definitely artificial intelligence cannot replace the human reviewers, we see a number of useful tools used by reviewers, like for checking the consistency, then some statistical validations, or even summarizing the key findings. And it seems that artificial intelligence really helped this process also. So, from my point of view, if guided thoughtfully, I think that in artificial intelligence we could have a very strong ally, which will improve and make the editorial and reviewing process make more efficient, robust, and based on the principle of fairness, also scientific integrity and disclosure.
Okay, thank you, Natasha. I like really this new tool that is matching your work with the journal in which you want to publish. So, Neven, maybe this is also related to results. You know what you said, that for whom is this paper? So, currently you are scanned, you know, by the artificial intelligence that can say what percentage of your submitted paper fits to the journal that you are submitting or the other journals. So you can see this immediately there. So when you are writing the journal, writing the paper, maybe it's time to you know, see how this can fit to the topics that are covered by the journal. Neven, maybe you can more.
Well, maybe to go a little bit wider, you know, on one side, I'm fascinated by AI. On the other side, I think it's a complete failure of some of activities people use it for. So if you want to write a nice text and you get the message, it will be really well done. If you want to calculate something, program something, it will do it very well. But it doesn't really understand the fineness of how we editors decide is this paper for this journal or not. And we do it in a very few minutes. We just look at it and we see this paper doesn't really have enough novelty. And AI cannot do that yet, maybe one day. But at the moment, we get lots of papers transferred from other journals. And I think AI is heavily used in that. And most of those transferred papers get rejected immediately. So AI doesn't do that job yet well.
Okay, I'm getting the papers after the main editor, you know, so maybe then I'm scanning the fits. I'm not deciding on
yeah,
okay,
you are probably getting papers after their pre-screen.
Yeah, pre-screen.
Yes, yeah, you are in ECM and editor-in-chief pre-screens all the papers, so you get good papers. In energy, it's all the editors who do pre-screening, so we get a lot of papers that are really out of scope.
Okay,
but crucial thing about AI, it's a great efficiency tool, but it will not replace you or us yet. It's not ready. It's a large language model. It puts words together in a great way. But if it will lie if it doesn't have access to truth. So the result you get is not something you can trust. So we get now a lot of papers which are written by AI, and we have to do policing and rejecting those papers because, I mean, you see quite easily that they are written. It's perfectly okay to use AI to improve your language. I'm fascinated, by the fact that we are not rejecting any more significant number of papers because of bad English. 10 years ago, we were rejecting like 30% of papers because of bad English. Now, all papers have good English. Use AI to improve your phrase. It's perfect. It really does it well. But if you tell AI, write me a paper, I will notice that, you know. I will see that this paper is completely generated by AI. It's a bit like those pictures or generated by AI where you see they have additional finger or something like that, you know. There are a lot of additional fingers in AI generated papers, so it doesn't work. I mean, some of those papers will pass through, but then if we find you out that you used AI to write a paper, then you will get to the blacklist. So it's something you shouldn't do. But anything that can help you after you have hypothesis, and this hypothesis is something new, it's good. You should use AI because it will immensely increase efficiency of your production. And that's fine.
Okay. Shir, if you want to talk, you just can raise the hand or say something. But we have a question from the audience, so please, can you give the... we don't have...
Thank you. Just a general comment. I see the AI like a smart, young, skilled collaborator that it isn't totally affordable, or yes, probably you have to check each thing it does, but it's important to have a collaborator like so smart and so fast. But about the publication process, I think that the most important role is played by reviewers at the end. And the reviewers, they know, have to know some other artificial intelligence tools, like the one to understand if the paper is written by AI or in another way. Because, for example, teachers use this kind of software to detect if a student is doing work with artificial intelligence or by alone. And so, in my opinion, an editor, when give a paper to revise to a reviewer, should be furnish also this kind of tools because they exist, and we have to start to know and to use. And this could be an improvement in the editorial process at each level. Probably there are other third tools that can overcome this double check, but could be a way to understand if the paper is real or is fake. Okay. By the way, you asked before, I am a society editor of a journal, Agri-Engineering, and of course, I'm a reviewer.
Okay, thank you for your contribution. There were no questions, but I also think that this will be good if we can have the help from the tool that can see that something is written by artificial intelligence. But they said it's quite dangerous, you know, because really this can be done. So we need artificial intelligence that will see two fingers, as Neven said, or, you know, we need to train artificial tool by Neven's knowledge to spot it, because this is something that maybe you can see and then check. So, but they said, you know, it's sometimes quite there is dangerous that artificial tool said something is written by artificial tool, but it was not, so this is something that maybe do you want to comment?
Well, tools like Authenticate can now tell you that it is written by AI or not. But access of, but it is possible, yes, of course, because everybody can have access to Authenticate. You need to pay it, but it's usually given to university professors who are usually editors and reviewers. So it is possible to check, but you can also see it quite easily that it's something written by AI. We now get a lot of reviewers' comments done by AI, and then response to reviewers' comments done by AI. So it's basically communication between AI. And then, if that review has at least one real message about novelty and hypothesis and was it proved or not, then I will say, okay. But if it's only AI comments, they will generally not go into the depth. They will beautifully say what is wrong with the paper, etc., on a formal level. But that's not useful information. I want to know, what is your feeling? Is this paper actually conveying some novelty, and is it done correctly? So in that case, I will ban this reviewer from future work. But if it uses AI to improve his review, sending the important message, then it's fine, then it's okay. But you still need to work on your own a bit.
Thank you, Goran. So with the same logic, so we're using AI everywhere. We're speaking about using AI on the side of people that they are writing the papers and then reviewing the papers. And can we imagine in the future to have a journal managed exclusively by AI, and what will be exactly the impact? Is it positive or not?
Okay, we can answer, but maybe Shir wanted to comment before, yeah. Okay.
This is an excellent question, and this is the exact point I wanted to come in. Do we use AI everywhere, or how do we choose, how do we prioritize, and what are the responsibilities that we have as researchers, as scientists and engineers? So at this point, I would like to share a presentation that tries to answer these questions. So what I wanted to share with all of you is, what are the connections between scientific integrity, sustainability, and bringing also the perspective of mitigation of climate change? Just to make clear where we are, when we look into the state of the climate system, we are at a decadal average. We looked for 2023 at 1.19 degrees Celsius of global warming. And when we look at the decadal average for 2015 and 2024, we're at 1.24 degrees Celsius of global warming, and we are getting closer and closer to the physical threshold of 1.5 degrees Celsius and the temperature target of the Paris Agreement. So this does require responsible solutions for everyone and in every aspect of society, and this does include researchers and decision makers. So let's ask the question then, where is the ICT sector in this picture? So mostly based on emissions from operational use and processing needs, and especially those in large data centers, the ITC sector has about a 1.4% share of global greenhouse gas emissions worldwide. And the emissions that are related to artificial intelligence also depend on metrics such as how much energy is being needed per run, and the frequency of runs that are higher than other approaches. So at the same time, so let's look at this layer by layer. Relevant emissions from the computing-related impacts are only a subset of the broader context. Here we can also see that there can be changes in emissions from immediate applications in various sectors that can be positive or negative, as well as system-level impacts, including those from induced changes in society and behavior. So this is the reason that we have to take a look at possible pathways. For example, steering digitalization for desirable outcomes require concentrating efforts in areas that can provide the largest gains in mitigating climate change. So it's the path that we're on now is the one of planetary destabilization on the top, also including increases from induced energy and emissions. But the lower emissions pathways also include efficiency gains and other improvements. And these possible pathways aim to show that it's important to concentrate digitalization in areas where it can really bring the highest value for mitigating climate change. So looking at relevant statements from the IPCC on mitigation, digital technologies can have positive or negative impacts on greenhouse gas emissions through their direct footprint, the technology applications for mitigation, and induce social changes. Renewable energy can serve as a low-carbon energy provider for the operation of a data center, also providing waste heat for other purposes. And whether digital technologies will enable or be a barrier for decarbonization depends on the pathways. So where can digital technologies provide the greatest benefits for mitigation and for society? As we've been discussing, load management, very important, smart charging, the interaction of flexible load and appliances, storage optimization to align variable renewable energy. It also includes precision agriculture to provide information on relevant parameters, data on urban infrastructure and logistics to make urban planning more efficient, and others where data is important for informed decision-making, even in climate modeling and analysis. So I was inspired by this panel, also by the first African SDEWES conference here. So I was glad to see that Morocco is also mobilizing its targets for energy transition based on renewable energy utilization, including master plan for energy production and a power to X roadmap. These are also relevant for some of the applications that we have been discussing for digitalization and energy transition. There are also many promising presentations in the scientific program for the region and beyond. But when we come to this, in the context of this promising broader scene, however, is it really wise, or should we ask the question, is it responsible to consider the use of AI extensively in scientific writing or rewriting any of its rules? Purely from an energy perspective, virtual assistants based on AI require about 10 times more watt-hours electricity than queries in basic online searches. And we see the values here in this slide. So 2.9 watt-hours electricity versus 0.3 watt-hours electricity. These can be multiplied by the number of queries, the users per day and year. In addition, the accuracy of AI models for increasing visual representation and understanding in other areas is improving, but much, much less in accuracy for scientific understanding, and in fact, any of its underlying principles. So it's important to prioritize areas with and without the best possible uses of AI. From the perspective of projections into the future, the electricity use of data centers is set to increase by about 2.3 times from 415 terawatt hour to a projected of 945 terawatt hour, and most of this increase is expected to come from AI-based servers. And these are the yellow areas and bars in this figure. And especially when there are large data centers with multiple large clusters, these also potentially create challenges for local electricity systems due to their loads. And here we see the distribution of those clusters around the world. From the perspective of projections related to water usage, global water use for data centers on the consumption side is expected to rise by about 2.1 times based on an increase from 560 billion liters per year to about 1,200 billion liters per year. And even before these recent projections, there has been promising research coming from the SDEWES community in related aspects too. So beyond the rules of any journals, and they are there for a reason, it's also up to the responsibility of researchers to think twice, to think triple times or even multiple times on the connections of integrity in scientific research, sustainability, and the mitigation of climate change. Integrity requires reliability to ensure robustness, transparency in reporting, honesty, respect, and accountability for the entire research process, from conceptualization to communication, dissemination, and the societal impacts. For this reason, Upholding scientific integrity, sustainability, and mitigation will be possible with responsible researchers. In addition, in special issues related to sustainable development of energy, water, and environment systems, let us all emphasize that we're always expecting excellent research papers covering a wide range of topics, including those to accelerate the energy transition across all regions, advancing technologies and systems, and providing integrated solutions. We also encourage the pursuit of the multiple opportunities for sustainable development through research. So with this, thank you very much for your attention. Shukran. And greetings to everyone in Oujda-Saidia and watching online. Thank you.
Okay.
May I comment
Yes, please.
a bit? Well, once technology gets out of the bottle, nobody's going to put it back. So we have AI, and it will develop really quickly. Answering to Aladdin's question, I fully agree what Shir says, but you can't put it back. So we have to find efficiencies, how to run it more efficiently. Can editorial work be done by AI? Well, I think already maybe 20% of editorial work has been replaced by AI. 95% of editorial work can easily be replaced by current AI, because this is the tedious iterative work of editor. We have to check integrity of paper according to certain benchmarks, etc. So this can be done by AI. Inviting reviewers also can be done by AI much better than by humans. But then you come at the point where we talk about real novelty, and then I don't see yet AI being able to understand the concept in the same way as humans. So I would really love that 95% of my work is replaced by AI, but I don't see it happening that quickly. The other 5%, we'll see.
Okay, thank you, Neven. I also agree with the Shir's presentation, so maybe the brain power is still more sustainable than using AI, but you are right that it will be hard to to replace it, so we need to find how to make it sustainable. Regarding the use of AI, maybe if AI is trained, can we, you know, if it's specially designed and trained as editor is trained? I know that your job or job of editors that have good pre-screening capabilities really trained on many papers, etc. So what do you think? How far are we from that point, or is this something that will also be soon provided by the AI, or it's still
well, the problem is wider. When you talk to AI, it responds like a human.
Oh, but okay, I said these are the tools that we are now generalized, you know, but
the
if
problem
it is
is
specialized tools,
you can cheat AI to get completely hallucinating. And this is still a problem with AI, you know, because this is a large language model. It doesn't really understand the concepts. We understand the concepts. So when you want to compare two sets of data, AI will do that fabulously good, because it can go through billions of data points and really see the connections. We can't do that nearly as well. But when it comes to really understanding the concepts, then AI is not that good, because it's just comparing other formulations with this formulation. And by copying other people, you're just copying other people. Of course, most of people in the world are just copying other people, and these people could be replaced by AI. But the most brilliant minds were always above that. They really understood the hard truths, and they found solution to that. much before anybody else could understand that. And AI doesn't have anything to compare it with. So
I think this was the right message because the science is on the edge, so you need to go a little bit to the future, which is maybe a capability of brain of editor, analytics, and everything else, what we are as humans capable. So Adansha, you wanted to comment?
Okay, using an AI as a potential, I would say, evaluator of the paper, it raises some ethical concerns, because if you copy paste the paper and say, please evaluate that, it means that you make some ethical misbehavior. So it means that we also have to be careful about that. And in my view, and I would say as a good practice, the reviewer or editor should do the evaluation by its own before even consulting artificial intelligence. And then maybe to write some notes, not perfectly written, and then these notes can be put into AI and asked to be written in a nice way in order to be able to communicate the message to the authors in the best possible way. Otherwise, copying and pasting the paper into the AI could be unacceptable from ethical point of view.
Yes, those are also instructions so far. At least elsewhere, the journals are not allowed to be copied and used with AI for the reviewing, but for the editor, we are also instructed not to be used. But we have internal tools that are developed by the publishers, so they could be maybe available soon, or as Neven said, that there are jobs that can be automatized and maybe done by AI with internal tools. Okay, are there any comments on current? Yes, please.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you. Very interesting panel so far. Maybe your thoughts, I mean, as a scientist, maybe we don't care that much about being more efficient, writing better English and so on. But don't you see that also as an issue for other types of professionals? I mean, translators and so on. That's also part of their work, their creativity in a way that's being stolen.
Progress is unrelenting. I remember 40 years ago, they fired all the typesetters in London. Just all people doing typesetting in one day. Thousands and thousands of them. Why? Because computers could do that much more efficiently. So the translators, most of translators will lose their jobs. But who's going to translate poetry? I don't think that AI still can translate poetry very well. And you need more things about language skills than just translating. There are other issues. But we are noticing how AI is taking over language instruction. Duolingo is basically AI. So we are going to see many jobs being transformed very much. If you want to run in front of AI, you have to go to the edge. And as scientists, we are in the right spot because we are on the edge. If you are doing science that can be replaced by AI, then sorry, you will be replaced by AI. It was not good science. But if you are better than an AI, that means that you're doing something that AI cannot do because it was not done yet. And then you are in front of it. And most of people will have to move to that side. Of course, there will be other jobs, service jobs. We will prefer to have a human waiter than a robot. But many jobs will be actually replaced by artificial intelligence. We are going into uncharted waters. Well, important thing is to say that new jobs will be created. I don't really think that there will be unemployed people, because whichever revolution happened to our industries, it always created much more new jobs. It's hard to say now which jobs, but this is what happened every single time in the history. People get freed from tedious jobs, like this 95% of editorial work, which is tedious, and then they can concentrate on something which is much more creative.
Okay, now we reach this word creativity, which is also closer to innovation, but it's maybe core of innovation. So are there any points maybe on this part that we were discussing now, because we were quite clear maybe going to the structure of the paper. So Neven, you explained that what should be done and what shouldn't be done. So regarding literature review, it's also something that should be done by the human brain, yeah, not just because at least in some papers we can now see that it's just keywords or something done, but this is not real literature review. So can you maybe comment on this?
Well, majority of literature reviews that you see in submitted papers are badly done. And we are trying to fight that and teach people and students how to improve the literature review. How the literature review should be done? It should be actually gap analysis. And it should lead towards the hypothesis. So if you just throw a bunch of references related to what you're going to be doing in your paper, that's not literature review. The real literature review is saying, okay, we have analyzed this, and this guy has shown this, and this is something that has to be researched further, but then this guy researched this further and has shown this, and this guy has shown this, but this is, there is a gap here, and this is where this research is positioned. That's a good literature review. But wording of the literature review, the way you are going to write it, yeah, you can have it, AI help it to brush the sentence. Yes, sure, that will be efficient. You can do literature review after you have planned it. You can do it in a few minutes, but you have to plan it, because I don't think AI can actually find this gap, because again, if the gap is not novel, it will it will be able to write it, but then your paper is not research paper. So if you want to be outside of the known area, and this is what research has to be, then AI cannot help you, because AI is good to compare it with the previous knowledge. But improving your sentences, perfect. Even summarizing parts of text, for that is good.
But maybe now you said, you know, we have this historical line gaps that were fill it, and then maybe this part can be done by AI. But the new gap should be maybe identified by a researcher, and this is novelty. Yeah, but the following and maybe AI can then say, look, because you know, when you're also reading the paper, you said there are also, you know, references, quotations that are like self-reference, etc. But, you know, maybe AI can identify which papers were most cited, looked, or, you know, also there are positive, negative reference, you know, someone puts, okay, because if you find that in some paper there were error, so you can also make reference to this and said, okay, they made error because according to our calculations, this is different. So, you know,
AI certainly can help you tremendously in researching literature. You just tell it to give you 600 papers in the topic. Am I losing the
losing it?
Yeah. So AI certainly can help you in searching for references. You just tell him to get you 600 references and summarize it, but you still have to plan how you're going to use those references.
I think that the key to mention here is that you have to make your literature review and analyzing the references before even you start your research. This is when your literature review will be very helpful to document your research question and to explain why you will do the research which you're going to present in this paper. Unfortunately, in many cases, we have a situation when researchers will do the literature review just for that purpose and not to define the research question. Later on, when everything is finished, they have some results and they say, okay, now I need to satisfy the guidelines for the paper, and then I need literature review and find me some papers with keywords which are relevant, and maybe even artificial intelligence can generate meaningful text for the introduction. But even this is very dangerous, because even in that cases, if you are not guiding it correctly, artificial intelligence can invent some not existing references. So the issue of accuracy is also very important. If researcher is honest and doing his work correctly, I think that his or her literature review is done before even the results. And then again, the authors should come back when they have the results. They come back again to the literature to compare, to analyze, and to put into the context and to emphasize their novelty. This is the way to go in writing the papers and using artificial intelligence thoughtfully.
I can agree and disagree with you on this point, because if I got a research question and hypothesis from Shearer or Neven or any other editor that is, or you know, someone who is writing the papers, so it's like top scientist, I will, and then I solve the issue, because you know you get hypothesis and research question from scientists that all had an overview of this field, and you know you can then solve the problem and then make a research like literature review. What do you think, Neven? Is it true? Or because of course if you are proposing the thesis and everything, then you need to go the step by step, but you know sometimes research question hypothesis can be done by scientists who want to test something and they know this is on the edge and you just need to...
Well, that's the role of supervisor, for example. A good supervisor will tell a possible hypothesis to a PhD student because he knows what is currently hot. And a good PhD student will then solve the problem, and that will be the only communication between the supervisor and the PhD student. Yeah, that happens very rarely. I had only one PhD student who did it like that. He just left Tomislav. With others, I had to have a little bit more discussions. But yes, supervisor should direct his PhD students. And of course, if you can get ideas from even more informed people like editors, it's good. They sometimes have so many questions in their head and they don't have enough people and money to solve them. So they might be, good to give you ideas what to research.
Yes. Are there any questions now from the audience? So maybe now we discuss this literature review. So then maybe, as you said, the AI can be utilized for the results or something. It can produce really fast some coding, etc. So in this part, also if you have interpretation, but not like what I would like to see use of AI when you get lots of figures and you cannot get real thing from the figures. So it's put in the paper, but it's just some general thing or something that cannot be readable enough. So maybe AI can help to make this more readable or something like this. So can you have experience? Maybe I'm not so clear. So you have a diagram or something that is not easily seen, or it doesn't provide you enough information to see what the author. So of course there are interpretation of this diagram to results, but when you look at it, it's not clear what is saying, or some axes are not defined enough, etc. So this is like a graphical work or something. So maybe this can be easily done by AI. What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, that's a great idea. It never came to my mind that we could have AI for visualization. I think that would actually work because there are better visualizations and worse visualizations. So AI could have a big database of previous visualizations of results and could learn from that. So this training could result in a very powerful way of visualization, because most of us are very bad at visualization of our results. But I have not seen up to now any software, any AI that is specialized in visualization of results. So this is a very interesting question, and if anybody finds such software, please send it to me. I think some of my PhD students would really improve their results hugely by having such software.
Yeah, I'm aware that AI can do the presentations, but we also need maybe for students and someone who can really say, okay, this presentation, diagrams and everything, you have too much, or this is not readable, and etc. So this is something that you get also in these papers different photos or methodology when it is explained or methods, the flow. Sometimes
I think Natasha has a lot of experience.
I think that artificial intelligence can do a great job in this respect, but mostly if we want to present some generic concepts, and then again the role of the author would be very important in guiding and defining developing this visualization is a kind of iterative process and might take many stages. until the and you can talk to artificial intelligence and say even very minor logistical things and improvements, and she will never be tired, and it will and these iterations could last for a long time until you are satisfied with the results. So to conclude, I think the clear guidelines and walk through the process of development of the visualization would be critical if we want to have a great visual delivery of the message.
Okay, yes, we can agree on that. So, but yeah, maybe there will be tools, and maybe they are already, but it's not still available to everyone. So I think we will soon see them also on in our future work. So, but maybe there is also the place where AI can be utilized, and this is error analysis or something that can be done. So there are a huge amount of data that we are producing and then reporting and making the, let's say, some when you want to compare to your data set with the other, you put it in some diagrams, etc. But it's not real error analysis; it's more graphical analysis. So real error analysis could be maybe produced by the AI. What do you think? This can be really automated and maybe help everyone.
Yeah, any pattern analysis is perfect job for AI. If you want to do something which we used to use regressive analysis, AI is perfect for that. So whenever you have to compare numbers with what would you expect, that's AI job. And we should definitely try to find the right tool for doing it, because not all AI can do all the things. But such tedious work should be replaced by AI. That's for sure.
Okay. Any thoughts on all the topics? Anyone want to contribute to this panel? No. Okay. So then maybe we can move on, and there are still maybe discussions and conclusions. This can be also maybe we can see that AI is sometimes used to summarize things, etc. But conclusion is not the summary, maybe, and the discussion should be really the contribution to the paper, and maybe you can even comment.
Shall we do concluding remarks?
Not yet, but maybe on this dissemination and the publication, and then we will go to the maybe a little bit of exploitation, and then we will conclude. Okay.
Well, I see again AI as a great efficiency tool, and there are different AIs, and they should be used, but don't tell them to write your paper. You need to do some work yourself. I mean, that's something that I can reiterate. I don't know.
Okay, so this is for the discussion and the conclusion. Then it's clearly that it should be done by the researcher, not AI. Yes, we can all agree as editors. So maybe you disagree. So do we have anyone to say, okay, no, I think the AI can do better the discussion and conclusion chapter than me? So no, okay.
I'm just curious, did you ever notice someone trying to style the way, copy the AI, use the AI to copy the way you write? like to take all your work and to try to
Yeah,
sound like you.
That works perfectly with AI.
Oh, that
Yes,
is interesting.
that works perfectly. So you can really say to AI to copy somebody's style, and anything that is related to copying AI is good. Or voice. Yes, you tell them to copy your voice, no problem. We are going to be living in a fake reality world, that's for sure. AI is good at copying. It finds a pattern, it copies the pattern. But science is not copying. Science is opening new ways. If your work is not novel, it's not science, and it can be done by AI. But if it's novel, it cannot be done by AI, at least not yet.
Okay, so now we are clear that the paper should be written by a researcher and the AI should be used for the technical things that can be really replaced by the automation and things like this. But then let's go to exploitation maybe. Maybe AI can be used here. For example, can AI provide you the business model or business case if you're not skillful in these things or you know how to make things working on a certain level? What do you think about this use of AI?
That looks like something that could be quite feasible by AI, because it will go and search similar business models and then try to fit all parts of your research into that. So that sounds like a completely valuable pathway to explore. I didn't see anything yet in that way, but
there are tools that can, you know, you can ask them to build, like, to provide me business model or business plan or things like that, or some idea, but maybe, you know, not for the, if you go to really, no, this is general, for example, if you have some new product that can be utilized or something like this, but for the real exploitation, like we saw yesterday, some piezoelectric effect used in waves, wave generation, etc. Maybe in this it cannot be utilized, but I don't know if anyone have any experience on this, can comment.
I think, as Neven mentioned, if the issue is copying something from somewhere, even it is business model, it can do it perfectly. But with the emerging new concepts, new contexts, everything, I think we need innovative business models. And then here again, I think that the role of human is decisive. We could have AI as an augmented tool, but still the human would be the ones with their creative mind to create innovative models, business models.
Yeah, definitely in innovation, you should be the one who is maybe providing this. But as I told you, you know, you want to do the startup with some finding or some results, or, you know, maybe you can ask and they can provide you with really detailed analysis and, you know, something that can maybe need several departments to analyze, you know. As Neven said, this is something that is done and, you know, so.
Okay, definitely, I cannot expect, let's say, a business model for electric cars like from Elon Musk, from artificial intelligence.
Yeah, but if you do the BID, maybe they can, or the other produce.
Well, I think that we all here agree that everything should be done first by us, and then maybe we can use AI to perform it or to improve it. But on the same time, it's a huge business. And we are thinking about with this ethical mind. Other people, they are not thinking the same way like us. And even if we say here that, okay, we don't have to use it, they are using it and they will use it in the future. So I think what we should do is, okay, they are working on developing and performing and improving everything related to writing, reading, reviewing, editing, but on the same time, we should have another community that should develop some mechanism of recognizing or something to detect what the AI are generating, and at the same time, maybe try to make some barriers or limit to them. I don't know if you agree with that or not, or it's possible or not.
Okay, in general, this is true, and particularly for scientific publishing, I think that the editorial teams are the ones in the center who needs to create these guidelines, which will be based on fairness, scientific integrity, and disclosure. And I would agree with you that with clear guidelines, we could have responsible use of artificial intelligence, which will not, in a way, hinder appropriate utilization of anybody's results. And particularly for the scientific publications, I think that the editors are the ones who need to make these guidelines and rules clear, and the appropriateness of these guidelines will decide whether the artificial intelligence will be an opportunity or threat or risk in the future.
I'm in long term not very optimistic about human race for winning that war. In 1986, there was a movie by Wim Wenders, Until the End of the World, in which he correctly predicted that humans will get completely hypnotized by screens. And with TikTok, we see that happening more and more. And more people will start living like in Matrix. And AI will slowly take over. I think we're still quite safe as long as we can plug off electricity networks. We can shut down AI. But once the robots start improving themselves, then we reach the singularity point and we are doomed. And this is going to happen very quickly, not in my lifetime, so I don't care. But in our children's lifetime, maybe. And I don't think we can stop it because it will so much improve the quality of our life, getting into a matrix, that everybody will want it. I mean, look at TikTok. You know, there is less violence, there is less drugs, there is less everything because people are just getting completely hypnotized by screens. And they feel happy, more happy than with their own lives, watching other people performing tricks. So this happiness that screens bring is something that I'm afraid we cannot stop. It's not really an ethical question. It's something that is just our destiny. Maktub.
I hope we will not watch that movie because I was watching it as a kid, not your, but the one that the robots took over the planet. Okay, so let's get back to reality. Okay, I think this is maybe the right way to conclude this panel, and as Aladdin, I will give the word to Shir, because I also want to mention something she said, and Aladdin said that the ethics are maybe something that can be the rules that we shouldn't cross. And Shir said, ethical use of resources is also something that should be discussed, and maybe it's a core of sustainability. So Shir, can you provide us maybe the final conclusions from your side on this, and you can also comment everything what was said in the panel. Yeah.
Very interesting discussions. I just wanted to come in noting that there was a report navigating New Horizons. It was a global foresight report from UNEP, and they were looking into the waves of innovation. So currently we're at the 6th wave of innovation that does include AI and different technologies, but together with green technologies, clean technologies, renewable energy. So it's more about how do we direct this 6th wave of innovation. Yes, we are in times of change, but it's all about what kind of future do we want to see? What kind of future do we want to give direction to? How do we want to address climate change? And this is where I want to reemphasize what I reemphasized in the presentation, that scientific integrity, sustainability, and mitigation can go hand in hand. This is what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Neven?
Well, I think I said everything I wanted to say about AI, but I have another thing to say. We need African editors in energy. I'm a deputy editor-in-chief, and we are fighting the numbers of papers. When Hendrik Lund, predecessor of Ruju Wang, who is currently editor-in-chief, took over, energy was getting around 500 papers per year. When Ruju took over, it was 20,000. This year, it will be 27,000. But it's difficult to be editor because, well, you have to show a track record or as a researcher. So it's not really something for a very young person. It should be somebody who has already reached a certain level. We would expect H-index of 15 for editor. And of course, you should be ready to work because this is quite a lot of work. You get at least 10 papers a week. It's kind of a weekly work. You have to do it every week. Otherwise, you get a big backlog, and then authors get angry at you, etc. And also, you have to have a wide mind. So you're not really very focused on only one field. You're not totally specialist. You have interest for wider things. So if you see yourself as a possible candidate, we lack editors from Africa. And well, I'm willing to help future candidates through the process, because you also have to do some guest editorial work before you become a candidate for editor. So just remember my words and drop me an email when you think you're ready to discuss that issue. I will be deputy editor-in-chief for the next 5 years, so that's the time framework. Thank you.
Thank you, Neven. Natasha, your concluding remarks.
Concluding, okay, so maybe once again to repeat the answer of the question of our panel. So artificial intelligence seen not as the one who will rewrite the rules for scientific publishing, but the one who will redraw the margins.
Okay, this is poetic said, and yeah. At the end, the instructions can be for you that ethics are important. So don't use, if you are instructed to not use AI for reviews, then don't use it. If you don't have time for review, don't accept it. If you write the paper, you should be careful where you use the AI, but there are certain places that it will help you a lot. So with things that we mentioned, and at the end, also take into account that how this energy is produced, that is used by AI, we saw, and that this will be the main driver for electricity grown in certain regions, except the electric vehicles, etc. So, and it will be used a lot. So I hope you had now a little bit better picture how AI will be used in the future. It will be stay with us and it will be part of our lives. So as any other technology, I think by really providing the rules that should be followed, it can be here with us and help us. Okay, thank you all for this panel. Sure. Really, thank you for joining us, and you can stay maybe if you have time on closing sessions. So I would like to thank first our panelists and then all of you for being here and contributing to this panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you also for this great moderation and for keeping your promise to finish at least 15 minutes before the scheduled time.
Sometimes I can make promises and fulfill them. Okay. And now we will have a closing session in, let's say, several minutes. Like. I think it's better to start immediately because people are sitting. Okay, so just a second. So just we will just switch presentations and. We will close the conference. Yes.